Hey y'all, let's uh let's give it a minute to breathe here. Thinking about canceling today, but we said just in case anybody's addicted to the game like we are. College affordability, accessibility, nerds like ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, I'll share a fun fact here is, I don't know, just about 20 years ago, I was actually in education. I was a teacher in Jersey City, New Jersey, seventh grade math special ed. And I know that today is a special day in the education world. At half day, looking at the clock, just everyone beeline into happy hour. I get it. It's a special day. So I appreciate anybody who is spending some time with us here. Um,
we won't be far behind you guys. We will not be far behind you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, especially our fellow East Coasters. We can't blame you if you know, you're not here. We'll forgive you. So, and we'll be efficient here too. But the point of today is, number one, open grab bag. So, any questions, guys? Challenge us. This is a great opportunity. It can be a very specific case study. Hey, my student just walked in with this question. What do you guys know? So please, fire at will here. You can be anonymous if you'd like, but great opportunity for you. We did, if you don't follow our podcast or listen to it or whatever, that's something that we did this week, just all actual kind of parent case studies, right? Here's what we're stumped with, and Peg and I went back and forth with those. Actually, this is a good opportunity for me to kind of show you what Eileen did for us. I'm gonna give me a second, guys, because I know it is here somewhere. Maybe I'll have her send it to me again. Because what I'm looking for, Bill, is that new counselor page.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
can
here it
pull
is.
it.
Never mind. Okay, so let me show you this because I think she did a beautiful job here. And then, Bill, if you want to grab this link and share it, she sent it. If actually I have, I'll grab it here. Um, so I think this should be a pretty good resource for you all and your parents, I hope. We've again, Eileen specifically and team have worked hard on this. But it's just kind of a bunch of the resources that we have, right? If you're a high school that doesn't partner with us, just investigate us, book some time with us, talk to Bill or myself, learn how we support families, learn how we support school counselors. But this is kind of a lot of great resources all in one place. Here's the podcast I mentioned, right? Here's the software. Here's what the software does. Some insights on our team of experts, right? We got this incredible team of experts that help support us with the education and are there to answer families' questions. So again, please take a look at this and just make sure that you are accessing and sharing, all the resources that we have to offer for our families. Okay, so I know Bill. Again, we've been we've the last few weeks we've showed the Power School plugin that we have, the free plugin that we have, and then I think we told a lot of you. You may or may not have heard, but we are also doing an integration with Score and integration with Zello. We want to get your feedback there. We have a pretty good vision. We're kind of down a path of what we'd like to accomplish there. But if you're a Score user, if you're a Zello user, what and where would you like us to kind of show up, right? Knowing what we do. So keep that in mind. And then Billy, I'll give you the mic there in a second to elaborate. The other thing that I want to share, and you're going to be hearing a lot about this recently, we're doing something called the Net Price Calculator Challenge. Okay. And what that is, and again, we've been saying this ad nauseum lately, we're going to continue to do so. A big problem with our kind of college system here is the lack of price transparency. Okay. As we all know, that is not breaking news. But one of the biggest factors for that is how bad these colleges' net price calculators stink, right? And they're downright misleading. We think most of them unintentionally. We have our suspicions that some of them are intentionally misleading because it's good for business for the colleges, not good for business for consumers. So This net price calculator challenge. What we are doing is we are telling all college bound or in college families, right? And school counselors, of course, if you think that a net price calculator is off, or if you just want to gut check it, say, is this an accurate estimate for what I'll pay at this college? Send it to us. Our data team will analyze it for free. Okay, we'll say, hey, here's what University of Michigan is saying your family should pay. Yes, that's accurate. No, it's off by 10,000, 20, whatever it happens to be. If we find that a net price calculator was correct and we were wrong, okay, we're going to give that family $100, $100 gift card. So that's the deal. And we really hope you guys will help us promote this because it's so important, right? To oversimplify it, that parents know and students know what they're going to pay to school, ideally before they even apply, right? And we want to make sure that families are getting the most accurate information. So we're putting our money where our mouth is, right? And that was our best kind of idea for how to do that. You want to get a second opinion on what you're going to pay at a college? Send it to us. Our data team will analyze it for free. If the college's net price calculator was right and we were wrong, you're getting $100. So again, we are putting our money where our mouth is. Um,
Yeah, and I think it makes sense just to shed a little light or bring some context to kind of how we kind of got to this point with you know, the NPCs and it's like you said, it's not breaking news, but we have a uh reinvigorated, kind of mission. And really it came about, and I shared in the chat here with everyone. Internally, we did a net price calculator audit. What sort of triggered that, and it's something our data team kind of does regularly, but we really went super, super deep dive. What sparked that was, our partnership with Niche, and Niche is leveraging our, basically our algorithm and our engine, the back end, to fuel their new project, the Niche True Cost. So we had to educate them that, the NPCs are completely flawed. And obviously that's just based on experience. So they needed some hard data. So our data team, worked their butts off and did an NPC audit, of, I don't know how many schools are on there, but
just about 4,000. It's like 3,900, something like that.
yeah, so just some quick hitters, and I'll also share a blog article we did with when we talk about our who's on our naughty list. Um, the big takeaways are 4%, only 4% of schools that were audited only have the correct cost data for the correct school year. So in other words, 96% aren't using up-to-date correct cost data at their own school. And the other big one is 70% of the schools that we audited are using cost data that are 2 years old or more. So those are just some of the quick hitters. But if you go ahead and download this, and if you wanted to share this with anybody, you'll see kind of the report that kind of our data team took, and it's you know it's striking. And now it's not just our experience. There's data really to back this up. So yeah, that's kind of how we got here. Now, leading into our naughty list, the first one we chose to I wouldn't say pick on, but
Call
spotlight.
out, you could say call out, right?
Yeah, call out. And there's a few reasons why we've called out Northwestern University. And if anybody has seen, we did a blog article, and um, I'll share the blog article in a minute. And hopefully, if you're on LinkedIn, one of the asks I'm gonna make respectfully here, if you're on LinkedIn and you see, that post about Northwestern being on the naughty list, whether it's my profile or College Aid Pro, comment, share, do all those social media things. Because we do want to get the attention of Northwestern. One of the things when we did this audit, we basically were able to figure out that it was, although it looks great and they, they give several different options. Their projections were terrible. Now, at baseline, we know there's limitations with the net price calculator, right? One, it only looks at the first year. Two, it doesn't help two household families, right? That's just out of the gates, right? And that's kind of common knowledge.
In
With
in their defense, I'll just interject quickly there. That's every night press calculator. If you're divorced or separated, sorry, they can't help you. Sorry.
Correct. Right. So that's just an NPC sort of baseline, right? Which, that affects a lot of people. So we're already, you know, uh, starting, behind the eight ball. And now what these colleges do, none of them actually have their own net price calculator. It's subbed out to a third party, and there's no requirements for maintenance, things like that. They check a box because it was a federal law that was passed, which in theory was good, but there's no oversight, no regulation. So with Northwestern, and you know what, I'll share my screen here because it'll just be easier to go through this. And Matt, if I'm going on over on time, I need to be told to land the plane.
Do your thing, brother, and I speak freely. You're all right.
All right. So this would just be a little bit easier here to look at this. Too many tabs. Where are you?
It's not a
Oh,
bad one to share, though, the free resource library.
yeah. I had this all ready to go. Oh, here we go. All right. So this is the blog article, and I'll drop it in the chat here. Check it out, share it, comment on it. Right. We're not trying to, pick a fight. We're really started. We want to generate a conversation with not just the colleges, but for counselors, for parents, for students, to really emphasize, these colleges are businesses, and you have to sort of look through it through that lens. So, and Northwestern's on the naughty list, so we have to, give them the Happy Gilmore. I know what you're doing, and I don't like it. And based on our audit, and thanks to our data team, we know basically exactly what they're doing. So if we go down here, these are the big things, right? So when we break down the net price calculator, as we all know, when it comes to need-based aid, and Northwestern is phenomenal with need-based aid. They meet 100% of demonstrated need. The vast majority is in free money. So that is what they do great. Okay, they're not all bad.
Mhm.
Specifically, their net price calculator, however, right? There's a problem because their net price calculator does not take into account sort of all these allowances that are baked into the student aid index calculations. And as we all know, everything hinges off of your student aid index, formerly known as the expected family contribution. So these allowances basically are given to families to, and it reduces their student aid index, right? So if the allowances aren't there, they're going to be seeing a higher student aid index at Northwestern, and thus their net price calculator is going to show that they're going to get less in terms of need-based financial aid. So that's huge for folks. And what's, I think, probably even bigger is, and this is not unique to Northwestern, but their net price calculator does not account for another sibling in college, aka the sibling discount. And through our audit process, private colleges still honor this sibling discount. Federally, that has been changed through, the new administration, but private schools basically will honor that sibling discount or kind of divide the EFC between the two. But their Northwestern specifically and many, many others do not reflect that. So again, to sound like a broken record, net price calculators are a tool. Certainly use them, but you can't blindly trust them because how do you plan for, a school that's $90,000 a year, pushing $400,000 over 4 years? How do you plan for a major investment like that without the correct data and the correct calculations? So thank you for letting
Well,
me
and
vent.
yeah,
Um,
let me double down a little bit here though, because so why should we give a shit, right? So okay, their net price calculator is off. How does that? Why is that good for Northwestern? Why is it bad for the consumers? And we have a mountain of data of actual case studies to kind of support this. but I'll tell you why. So those allowances there, ultimately, what or those, seven data points that are not in their net price calculator but are in their actual financial aid formula means that when a family goes to find out how much they're going to pay at Northwestern, it ends up looking like Northwestern is going to be more expensive, okay, than it will end up being. Okay, like who cares? Well, here's what happens, guys. Here's what happens. So, and again, we have all these case studies. So, I go to apply for financial aid at Northwestern. Okay, the calculator tells me I'm going to get $40,000 in financial aid. I get accepted. I get my financial aid award. I get $50,000 in financial aid. Okay. I'm friggin' thrilled. Where do I sign? Not, I did $10,000 better than I was expecting to do. But here's what Northwestern does. Okay. Now, again, we're picking on Northwestern today. They represent a body of colleges that do similar practices. Okay. On average, they under award families between $5,000 and $10,000 less than they should get. So said another way, if a family should get $40,000 in financial aid, on average they'll give them 30 or 35. If a family wants to go gut check this and say, "Did I get a fair award?" Where are they going to go? Northwestern's financial aid website. Oh my God, I did even better than I was expecting to get, right? I'm not going to appeal. I'm not going to ask for more money, and I'm going to have no way of knowing that I was under awarded. So we pretty much bat 1,000 at colleges like Northwestern, and again, the ones that use similar business practices to say, "Hey, yeah, thanks for the 50,000, but guess what? According to your business model, you should give us 57. We want 7,000 more dollars." And they always do it 100% of the time because they're busted, essentially, right? But these are only the people that are kind of in our ecosystem, which represents a fraction of all college bound families, right? And if we do the math, right, if we do the math for Northwestern, right, they have about 9,000 undergrads, a little more, a little over 60% of them are on financial aid. Okay, so if we call that round numbers, about 5,000 students, and they're under awarded on average between 5,000 and $10,000 a year, unbeknownst to them and unchallenged by them. That's 25 to 50 million more dollars for Northwestern every single year, right? So the way that so we pose the question, is Northwestern they don't know what's going on, they're ignorant, they have no idea that their calculator's missing seven data points, and as a result, they're netting between 25 million and $50 million more a year? Or are they pretty smart and they do this, intentionally, and they're netting between 25 and $50 million a year? Which, hey, they're a business, God bless, okay? But we're going to call them on it. We don't like the lack of transparency, right? So
Yeah, and so the other ask that I'll make directly here today from our counselor community is,
sorry, Bill. You know what? Somebody wants to ask a question here. I'd like to
oh,
call him.
sure.
So okay, this is Allie. We'll give it a shot here, Allie. We're going to try to let you talk here. So give me a second, and please,
Oh, nice.
you can either come on camera or not, or ask your question, assuming that you meant to raise your hand. I know we've done that by accident sometimes, but if it wasn't by accident, go ahead and fire at will with your question here. And if it was by
You're on
accident,
mute if you are trying to
yeah. Oh,
accident.
by accident.
Oh,
Oh
Allie, come
no,
on. You got us
Allie.
all
We
excited.
were all excited. Make up a question.
Come on. Just
Oh,
come on here and say happy Thanksgiving or something. You know? I didn't even know you could do that
yeah,
on
yeah.
Zoom
Well,
anymore.
well,
Um, but anyways, next time, Allie, okay?
next time.
Um, but the other ask I'm gonna make for our council community here is really encourage anyone you know, students, parents, families, to upload their financial aid awards
Mhm.
into MyCap, and you could do
Bill,
that.
I can show it unless you have it open, because let's just show that. You can talk through it, and I'll
I'll
just.
talk through it. You could show it, but you can do this on the free version. If you have the paid version, which is $5 a month, it's basically less than going to Starbucks. Um, if you upload the financial aid awards, and one first we'll do is we'll automatically analyze it and just keep brass tacks. What's free money? What's loans? But more importantly, we're able to tell families, did you get a good deal or not? based on here's what you got, here's what your my cap was projecting based on how we know they run their situation, and their calculations. And on top of that, the type of school and any other kind of certain family indicators, we can identify that and basically tell that family, hey, you were under awarded. It's really worth your time to go talk to the college, submit an appeal, and get the additional money that you're entitled to. And like Matt said, at schools like Northwestern, Boston colleges, I won't be surprised if they find themselves on our naughty list. Oh, there you
They're
go.
on it. They were
Yeah.
they were born on there. And yeah, and just to kind of add to Bill's point here, a couple things. Number one, not only will we tell you, hey, you should appeal, you have a strong chance of appealing. How much were you off by? What should you be asking for, right? What should we anchor to for a number? And I'll tell you something that Boston College and most schools that are institutional methodology schools do this. Okay. So again, am I picking on Boston College? Like, yes, but again, they are far from alone here. If a school uses uses the institutional methodology, they're supposed to anchor their financial aid awards to that number. So if we meet 100% in need, okay, at Boston College, that family should be paying between 40 or on the high side of 51 if, for example, like Boston College, they consider all home equity, okay? Um, but what most of these colleges will do is they'll say, hey, if the federal SAI is higher, we're going to kind of pretend that we are a federal SAI school and we will anchor to this number and say, hey, your FAFSA said you meet, your SAI was 61,000. So that's what you're going to pay. And that's when we'll say, guys, right? And call them on that appeal here. So again, fairly sophisticated in the weeds, but let the platform do the work for you guys and for your students. So again, we can make sure we're getting what we should be getting from
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah, and it's a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for the parents and students, right? Get as much money from the colleges as you can. And it's a win for us, selfishly, because the more award data we have in there, the better it informs our algorithms and basically helps us drive these conversations with these colleges and push this kind of cost transparency, mission that we have. So thank you
Yep.
for considering that.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, again, because we're really trying to, we don't have the biggest microphone. We work hard to try to get people with louder microphones to listen to us. Obviously, more people are starting to pay attention, right? Where they mentioned us and, along with Northwestern and the New York Times, a couple weeks ago. But we're trying to, kind of crowdsource between parents and you guys as school counselors to try to get more accountability from these colleges, which ultimately means just parents, right, paying less, right? It is a racket. And again, that's okay, but we got to know as consumers how to play the game, right? Um, okay. Okay. Yeah, anything else, Rabs? Anything else? I mean, it doesn't seem yeah, so Jennifer, I really appreciate your interest in integration with Score. If you have what we're um because look at our biggest challenge with them is they just don't move fast enough. And what we have seen that has moved the needle in a meaningful way is when they hear from you school counselors that, hey, we would really like this integration, immediate results. It gets prioritized. So again, if you are a Zello or Score user, just tell them, hey, I understand you guys have a partnership with College Aid Pro. They know who we are, of course. We would really like this integration in place as soon as possible, so our parents don't have to have another login, and they get all the value that combining our forces can and does provide. So nudge your point of contact at Score, whoever that is, and just let them.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jennifer. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and to Matt's
Like
point, I've been meeting with a lot of counselors across the country, about our Power School plugin and then a partnership that we're working on with Score. Currently with Score, we provide educational, financial aid and scholarship content and webinars uh, for their company, and we're working on an integration similar to what we have with Power School. But to Matt's point, Score's a big boy, right? And these big boys, these big companies, they move slow, and it's just kind of how they are. Um, we're not that way. I mean, we like to think we're big, but we're small, but that we're able to be nimble and move fast. So yeah, the ask is just shoot a note to your rep and just say there's interest in a integration with College Aid Pro, because that will really go a long way. I mean, we're doing what we can, but if we can just kind of you know
Let's put it this way.
keep effort this.
Almost every time we hear, or almost every time a score user, school counselor pings score, we'll hear from their leadership either that day or the next day to say, "All right, guys, let's get back to work. Let's accelerate this." So again, it has meaning. It has tangible impact. Okay. So yeah, we appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, look, I won't take any more of your time, and again, honest to God, it really does show your guys' kind of care level to show up on abbreviated day before the halt. Well, did we get another question, Jennifer? Okay, Jennifer, let's see if this one works.
Oh yes, let's go, Jennifer. Let's see your face. Come on.
Wait a second. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and
Yeah,
clear.
I
we
don't know where
got you.
my face is, but
That's okay.
I just wanted to make sure you saw my question, which was I will have access to a lot of my students' aid offers. In some cases, I've helped the parents so much that I actually know their financial situation, but in a lot of cases, I will not have the inputs.
Yeah.
Is it still useful to your database to just have the offer if you don't know what the inputs are?
100%. Yeah, we will, and then we can, if it's kind of the obviously our standard order of operations is, hey, we understand your situation, we have your inputs, right? We project, and then we get the actual award and analyze it. We can
Yes.
we can do it in the reverse order, essentially. So it will
Okay.
still be meaningful for us. And yeah, just
Okay.
and something we say all the time, just consider us like an extension of your team, office, whatever. So the same thing goes for you guys. Like if you're just doing a net price calculator, you're looking at an offer and you want us to help again analyze it along with you or for you, whatever, just please take us up on that.
Yeah, and we can even do, kind of do this in bulk. If you had a stack of financial aid awards, we have a secure way you can send them over, redact the personal information if you want or need to, and we can do it in sort of a bulk fashion as well. So, part of
Okay.
what we're
Yeah.
trying to, yeah, just
I
keep
have a
keep that in
goal
mind.
of
We're not trying to make
collecting.
anybody's job harder. If anything, we're trying to make it easier for you counselors. So, um, yeah, keep that in mind.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jennifer. Have an awesome Thanksgiving. Where are you? Where are you in the
Thank you.
country?
I am in Orlando.
Oh, nice.
However, I work at a school that is in New York. It's kind of a
Interesting.
long
Well,
story, but I travel back and forth slash work remotely. So, but
talk about a
I'm really,
snowbird. Holy moly.
a
Well,
reverse snowbird, right?
I hope to
It's
hear
a
it
long
sometime.
story, but that's
I
where
hope
I
to-
work.
Well, we'll have you back on. You tell us from beginning to end the story. But in the meantime, you have a great Thanksgiving and appreciate
Thanks
the
all.
participation. Bye now. All right,
This
Uncle
is
Bill.
great. I didn't know, Carp, I didn't know we could, in a webinar format do this. So this is
Zoom, man.
cool. I like it.
Good. They're pretty good.
Allie, we're looking at you. Next coffee talk.
Allie's gonna come
You know,
prepared next time. She's gonna come prepared next
just
time.
shoot from the hip. You don't need to, prepare anything. Just, shoot from the hip.
That's it. All right, guys, have an awesome holiday. We very much appreciate you. Keep an eye out as we try to really get this net price calculator challenge going. If as another I guess add on here, if you are seeing or suspecting that any colleges might be maybe need to go on the naughty list, please share that with us. We will investigate, or on the nice list for that matter, right? These, we don't want to just call out the bad actors, although that's our focus because the good ones are doing it good. They deserve credit, and we will call them out. But, anyways, please share with us and be a part of this because it can make a difference.
Yeah, and just lastly, we'll send the recording and follow up. If anybody wants to meet with me to look at the Power School plugin or talk about, potential plugin information for score and things like that, please schedule a time. I would love to connect with you and, quick 15, 20 minutes just to connect. So feel free to jump on my calendar or reach out to me through email, whatever's easier.
Thanks, guys. Have an awesome holiday. And again, we appreciate you.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Well.